Scizor, more like none of your bizzor, and Kleavor, more like show us your beaver. Oh no. Hello everybody, my name is Ace Trainer Liam and welcome back to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form or a branched evolution like we're looking at today, or counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question and we try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action. We also have a Metronome battle between them just for a little bit of fun. But with all that out of the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. Today on Form Fight, we're going to be looking at the branched evolutions of Scyther, which are Scizor and Kleavor. Now, to get yourself a Scizor, simply trade a Scyther whilst it's holding a metal coat, or just expose Scyther to a metal coat in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it'll evolve into Scizor. As for Kleavor, expose Scyther in Pokemon Legends Arceus to Black Augurite, and it will evolve into Kleavor. So what makes these two evolutions of Scyther so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokedex, Scizor stands at 1.8 meters tall and weighs 118 kilograms. Its Pokedex information reads this Pokemon's pincers, which contain steel, Kelsoprees, can crush any hard object they get a hold of into bits. Which is a really horrible, awkward sentence to say. It swings its eye-pattern pincers up to scare its foes. This makes it look like it has 3 heads. What does everybody want? As for Kleavor, it also stands at 1.8 meters tall, but weighs 89 kilograms. Its Pokedex information calls it a violent creature that fells towering trees with its crude axes and shields itself with hard stone. If one should chance upon this Pokemon in the wilds, one's only recourse is to flee. Appearance-wise, Scizor looks like a humanoid insect creature with metallic red skin and large pincers at the end of each arm. And Kleavor is a humanoid insect creature with a more rocky looking appearance, with sandy body coloration with large black stone axes at the end of each arm. And for some reason, it has a beard. In their shiny forms, Scizor swaps out its red armor for bright green, with its chest and abdomen changing from grey to green. As for Kleavor, it simply changes its main sandy color to green, and its beige joints turn to a golden color. Now let's have a look at the typing, weaknesses, and resistances of these branched evolutions. First up is Scizor, who is a dual-type bug and steel Pokemon. This makes it weak to only fire, but that weakness is a 4x weakness. It resists normal, bug, steel, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy type attacks, and is completely immune to poison type moves. As for Kleavor, it's a dual-type bug and rock Pokemon, which makes it weak to rock, steel, and water type moves. It resists normal and poison type attacks and has no immunities. Now let's take a look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon. Scizor is a Pokemon with below average speed, but more than makes up for that with its physical defense and its incredible physical attack. It even has above average special defense, and if you couple its defenses with its single weakness and its massive resistances, you have yourself a very tough Pokemon. Its primary ability is Swarm, which boosts the power of Scizor's bug type moves by 50% when its HP falls below 1/3 of maximum. Now sure, this ability is fine for getting a last-ditch boost of extra power behind your late-game U-turn or X-Scissor, but as you know with me, I'll never advocate for building your strategy around losing 2/3 of your HP. Scizor's secondary ability is Technician, which boosts the power of all Scizor's moves with 60 base power or less by 50%. This effectively gives Scizor access to 60 base power Bullet Punch, 75 base power Trailblaze and Pounce, and even 90 base power Aerial Ace and Thief. This really is the go-to ability for Scizor, since it really opens up its move pool and gives it a lot more utility. Scizor's hidden ability is Light Metal, which halves Scizor's weight, so, you know, you can take even more damage from Heat Crash. Great. As for Kleavor, it has almost the same stats as Scizor, except it loses a tiny bit of defense and special defense, as well as a small chunk of special attack, in favor of 20 more base power and speed than Scizor. So it hits just as hard and can hit a little bit quicker, but is a little bit more fragile than Scizor. Although when we compare resistances, I guess you could say Kleavor is a lot more fragile than Scizor. Kleavor's primary ability, much like Scizor, is Swarm. Oh, joy. Its secondary ability is Sheer Force, which boosts the power of moves that have secondary effects, but those secondary effects will no longer activate. This is great for getting some extra firepower out of Kleavor. However, if we ignore special attacks, since you should never use those on a Kleavor anyway, the only moves affected by this ability are Pounce, Rock Slide, Rock Tomb, Stone Axe, and Trailblaze. And most of these moves aren't really worth using without their added effects. Kleavor's hidden ability is Sharpness, which powers up Kleavor's slicing moves by 50%. This is a perfect ability for Kleavor, giving it a 120 base power X-Scissor, a Fury Cutter that starts at 60 base power, and a 105 base power Night Slash, which, with its increased critical hit ratio, is insane. And unlike Sheer Force, this makes Stone Axe more powerful than Rock Slide, but still allows it to spread Stealth Rocks when used. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two Pokemon I prefer, and it's easy, it's Scizor. Like, I prefer the Bullet Punch, you know, with Technician. I just prefer the look in general. I like the shiny more than Kleavor's shiny. Kleavor's got some great offensive power, and with sharpness, I can see it being a really dangerous Pokemon, but at the same time, I just don't rate it that much. It just looks a bit crap, and who knows how long it'll be before we actually get Hidden Ability Kleavor as an available Pokemon. But of course, it's not just up to me to decide which is my favorite, it's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. But before we do, we need to see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome battle. Well, it will be time right after this word from our sponsor. You know what time it is. It's time for Liam to talk about the wonders of G Fuel. G Fuel is an energy formula with barely any calories, zero sugar, and a whole heap of wonderful flavors, and even some lovely cans like the beautiful rainbow sherbet that I'm drinking today. This is just one of those OG, wonderful, Bob's your uncle, exactly what it says on the tin flavors that just taste so bloody good and also gives me bags of energy. Now let's get ready for some dirty porno. Oh my god, it tastes so bloody good. Go get yourself some G Fuel. Use code ACE when you do to help support this channel while saving 20% on your entire order. Not to mention that most of the energy formula tubs are 30% off right now with code ACE, and starter kits are 30% off with code ACE right now, so there's just so much to be saved by using code ACE, our wonderful channel's code. Thank you in advance, because it really does help out this channel. Remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because it contains caffeine, and children don't need to be anywhere near caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and because it contains caffeine, drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Now I just need to remind you guys before we start the Metronome battle that the Pokemon that you're about to see have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats, neutral natures, they're holding leper berries just in case the battle goes long enough for them to run out of PP for Metronome, haha PP very funny. These Pokemon all have their primary ability, which is Swarm, because I may or may not have forgotten to actually change their abilities so that they were different, so I guess that's what we're going with because I only realized at the time of making this video. Whoops. But basically the only advantage or disadvantage any of these Pokemon get comes from their typing and their base stats. Everything else is all up to the Metronome. Let's go.
So here we go. It's the showdown of the century for some people. Not for everyone, but for some people. It's Kleavor versus Scizor. Kleavor's going to start things off with super power for some neutral damage on shiny Scizor there, but is going to lower its attack and its defense by 1 stage apiece, which is not good for Kleavor going forward, but is great for the Scizor team. Shiny Kleavor going to start things off with attack order. Not very effective, but still did decent damage on shiny Scizor there. Over to regular Scizor now for its first move of this battle. It's going to go for Rock Tomb, which is super effective. Massive damage to Kleavor, more than half its max HP, and slows it down by 1 stage. And now we have shiny Scizor, who's going to go for Hypnosis and put shiny Kleavor to sleep. That's a great play there by the Scizor team. They started off a bit rocky with Kleavor's moves, but they're showing that they can hang with the big boys, it looks like. Shiny Kleavor is fast asleep at the start of next turn, so can't do anything. Scizor is going to start this turn off now with Ember for some neutral damage onto regular Kleavor there. Not much damage dealt, though. A little bit of chip damage. We have a head smash from shiny Scizor, but it's avoided by shiny Kleavor. How did it avoid it when it was asleep? That's a problem I always have with Pokemon. And here's regular Kleavor, who's going to go for String Shot and harshly lower the speed stat of both the Scizor team there, making itself once again the fastest thing on the field. I think also... Oh, no. Shiny Kleavor is the fastest thing on the field. Regular Kleavor has that -1 speed. Here we go. Regular Kleavor, as shiny Kleavor is fast asleep. Arm Thrust, how many hits? 1 hit, not a great deal of damage. 2 hits, not a great deal of damage. 3 hits, and wouldn't you believe it, not a great deal of damage. And there's the 4th, and lo and behold, not a great deal of damage. 4 hits and barely any damage, but any damage is better than no damage. Here comes shiny Scizor, though, who's going to go for Ancient Power for a super effective hit. Of course, it's a special attack from a Scizor, so it didn't do a great amount of damage, but of course, no Omni Boost either. Here comes regular Scizor with Smog. Going to do a little bit of resisted damage there, but does get the poison on regular Kleavor, putting it on a timer. So now regular Kleavor suffering the effects of that poison, probably has about 1 or 2 turns left in it. And now shiny Kleavor is going to get ready with the Metronome, go for Aqua Step. Shades of Quaquaval there for a decent amount of damage onto Scizor, but does raise its speed by 1 stage. And now regular Kleavor, with one of its last moves of this battle, is going to go for Crunch onto shiny Scizor and put shiny Scizor in the danger zone. How will it respond? It's going to respond with Giga Drain. Again, a special attack, not a great deal of damage there to shiny Kleavor, but any damage is better than no damage, and a little bit of HP restored to get up to 32 hit points. Now regular Scizor firing off a power swap. What a waste of time. I don't think either of these Pokemon have had any changes to attack and special attack, so what a waste of time. There's the poison damage to regular Kleavor, and it takes it down. We're now 1 Kleavor versus 2 Scizor, but the Scizor ain't looking too great, but then again, neither is the Kleavor right now. So shiny Kleavor, raring to go with the Metronome, goes for Acid. That is completely ineffective against Steel-type Pokemon. So big wasted turn there. Opportunity for the Scizor team. Regular Scizor ready with the Metronome. Going to go for Axe Kick. Almost takes down Kleavor, but just the confuse off the Axe Kick there. Nice of an Axe Kick to actually land. And now shiny Scizor with the follow-up is going to go for Flame Charge for neutral damage. That's it. Shiny Kleavor goes down. Scizor has won this round with, I would say, relative ease. It was a great little back and forth. Quick Metronome battle. Quick Pokemon, I guess.
So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the branched evolutions of Scyther is your favourite? Is it Scizor or Kleavor? Let me know in the comments down below and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And if you're wondering why I didn't include Eviolite Scyther in this video, it's because I just don't care. And if you're a channel member, don't forget to go and vote on what you'd like the next form fight to be. There will be a poll in the community tab, as long as I've remembered to actually post it. And just before I end the video, let me say a huge thank you to our wonderful Ace Trainer Ultra XL members who are Bro Metapod, Purple Dragonair, Ghost Lupin, Andros Lefay, Sin City Yeti, Gamer Guy Mike, Mumbai Cobra, Gear Overlord, Toy Bonnie, TJ the Nerd, Night Angel, Lucas Gates, Kingly Gamer YT, and Viridian Fault. Thank you all so much for your incredible support on this channel. So that will do it for another episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Share the video with a friend. Hit the join button to become a member to support the channel. Use code ACE for 20% off G Fuel, 30% off energy tubs, most of them, and 30% off starter kits with code ACE. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training. Also check out my live streams. I forgot to mention.